When talking about the 5 major palaces of Joseon, Gyeonghuigung is always mentioned last. The reason is probably because of the history of many ups and downs. Deoksugung Palace and Gyeongbokgung Palace were also damaged during the Japanese colonial era and have a miserable history, but Gyeonghuigung Palace once had all the buildings disappeared so much that it was hard to find even traces of them. The Palace of Misfortune, which had to go through several restorations and reconstructions as the entire palace was damaged, is Gyeonghuigung Palace, and the main gate here is Heunghwamun Gate, which is designated as Provincial Tangible Cultural Property number 19 by the city of Seoul. Heunghwamun is the main gate built with the foundation of Gyeonghuigung in 1618. In the late Joseon dynasty, palaces were often burned. During the Japanese invasion of Korea in 1592, most of the palaces were burned, and as the chaotic period continued after that, numerous palaces were burned. Originally, it was a fairly large palace, but in the process of rebuilding other palaces, Gyeonghuigung's buildings began to be used little by little, and in 1865, most of Gyeonghuigung's buildings except for 5 were demolished in the name of rebuilding Gyeongbokgung. Heunghwamun was well preserved in its original form despite numerous ups and downs, but in 1910, when Japan demolished and sold Gyeonghuigung Palace to build Gyeongsugung Middle School, it was moved to the southern wall and then moved to Bakmunsa Temple in Gyeongsugung in 1932 and used as the main gate. With the establishment of the Sheila Seoul Hotel in Bakmunsa Temple, its prestige fell to the front gate of the hotel. Although the location of the building has been moved several times, the original form at the time of its foundation has been preserved, making it a very important cultural asset that shows the architectural characteristics of Gyeonghuigung Palace. It is a building with 3 rooms at the front and 2 rooms at the side, and is located on the east side of the palace. Originally, it was discussed that it would be built in a middle layer like the main gate of other palaces, but since Gyeonghuigung itself served as a temporary shelter when there was a problem with other palaces, it is said that it was built simply as a single story. The writing on the signboard was written by a minister named Lee Shin, and it has been recognized as a great work since the Joseon dynasty, and it was also called a Juge Palace, which means that the writing glows even at night. After passing through Heunghwamun, the main gate, and crossing Gyeomchangyo Bridge, you will enter the realm of Gyeonghuigung Palace. If you go up a little to the northeast, you will see a gate majestically located on a high staircase and a podium. It is Sungjeongmun, the main gate of Sungjeongmun, the main hall of Gyeonghuigung Palace. Normally, the main gate and the gate of the main hall should be connected in a straight line, but since Gyeonghuigung is a second palace and the building was built according to the shape of Mount Inwangsun, the main gate is located in a slightly different place from the traditional manner. Construction began in 1617 when Gyeonghuigung was built and was completed in 1620. Since it served as the gatekeeper of the main hall, numerous events were held, such as awarding awards for successful applicants and receiving foreign envoys. It was not damaged even when the buildings of Gyeonghuigung Palace were demolished due to the reconstruction of Gyeongbokgung Palace. It seems to have been demolished around 1900, when the Japanese colonial era began in earnest, and a Japanese school, Gyeongsugung Middle School, was built in its place. Excavations began in 1985, and it was restored in 1991 to find its current appearance. It is a single-story building with 3 rooms at the front and 2 rooms at the side. Since it is a building located at the foot of Inwangsun Mountain, Woldae is very large and high, and accordingly, the sense of coercion is felt more than other buildings. The appearance of the pavilion located on the left and right is also magnificent and beautiful, receiving many compliments, but since it was recently restored, the old feeling is hardly felt.